Indeed, yes, indeed, all right. So stoked to be here. Everybody get up off your butts, stand up real quick. Come on now. Woo! I want you to repeat after me, loudly, boldly. You ready?
Yeah, ready?
I am grateful.
I am grateful,
But not content.
but not content.
I am grateful.
I am grateful,
But not content.
but not content.
I am grateful.
I am grateful,
But not content.
but not content.
All right, you may see yourselves. Amen. All right. I got some writer downers for you. All right, are you ready? Real quick. Number one, sell the benefits, not the features. Sell the benefits, not the features. Some of you need to throw your scripts in the trash can. Lead with your heart. Have an agenda to meet that person at their point of need. Okay? It sounds scripted. We call that eXping. I heard eXp on people, right? You're never going to be able to NLP some of the top people in this business to get them where you think they need to be. All right? Okay, let's see. Do we have some slides, Rob? Hopefully. A little bit about my story. I joined eXp January of 2017, and Brett described the transformational moment. I was totally not looking for another, oh, I'm sorry, I have the slide connector up. That's my deal. I'm used to having all this stuff done for me. And by the way, thank you, Grant Molina. Best opening act I've ever had. Unbelievable. But I started this with Brent, that little transformational moment that Brent and I had. And, you know, at the time, I was 58 years old, 58 years old, and was at a point, 9 years as an independent broker. And I woke up one day and I had a nice business in Dallas, and I had nice coaching income. But I realized that I had the potential, and it turned out to be a real potential, to outlive my money and place my kids in the same position that I was in when I had to be my mother's caregiver for 5 years. And I didn't want to do that. Is there an exit strategy for most people in this business? No. How about eXp? Is there an exit strategy here? Indeed. Okay. So I was forever grateful for Brent for sharing the gospel, I call it the good news, of eXp, and saving, literally, not just changing, but saving lives. I mean, that's literally what happened. As you guys know, I've been here about 4.5 years. The numbers are incredible. I walk on the shoulders of giants. There's no question about that. Very grateful for everybody here. In fact, if my family, if you guys would stand up, my son, who I do the show with every Thursday, Cliff's Notes is right there running the camera. My daughter Caroline, my wife Karen, over here. I got my agents from Dallas. Would you guys stand up, please? I want to acknowledge you. Thank you guys so much. We love you. And I look around, and what is so cool about being here is my family has grown to be this big. You guys are all part of my family now, and we love loving on you and having that relationship with you. But my story is unique, and it's part of why I'm successful is because I have a story. But really what's important is your story, not mine, but yours. So what I'd like to do in the next few minutes is share with you how to create your story if you don't have one. All right? When I talk about life changing, these are just some of the great benefits that eXp has brought into our lives. Don't know where to start. It's crazy. So one of my dear friends, well, actually the guy sitting on the third row right here, lived by financial freedom, location freedom, and time freedom. And for me, that was sort of my definition of success. And that's one of the things that I had no path on how to get there until I got here at eXp. So you can see this is a picture of our group up in Dallas. We sell a lot of real estate. I had to throw this one in for Grant, the bottom right. Who's that guy in the bottom right with me? Jordan, right? Jordan Belfort. You guys ever see the YouTube video of Grant Cardone and Jordan Belfort together? Go Google it. It's a lot of fun. All right. So tips, tricks, and tactics. Kind of like the show. Tell your story, guys. Who's read Tell to Win? Great sales book. Anybody read that? No? Might want to order it. Telling a story. Look, what's the best-selling book ever? Okay. What did Jesus do to influence people? Okay. It's changed the world forever. Your story is what's going to attract people to eXp. People follow people. You've heard it. All right, so let's see how we can make our story. It starts with the other person's desire. Now, I call this ego. This is like what drives you to want to be like number one. You know, most of us are competitive. We're high D's, high I's, and we're driven. We have that ego that makes us want to really work and go out and be the best. So start with a desire. A good question might be, what's the next big thing you want to do in the real estate business? Something like that. Secondly is a problem. What are some of the problems that real estate agents face in our industry? Retirement, what else? Broker charges too much. What else? Insurance. High risk. That's high risk. IRS, you got that right. So the IRS is true. You said insurance, getting out of the business, retiring gracefully. Like I heard, in this trip, who's ever been to a realtor retirement party? That's a great one. Love that. So find out where their pain point is, right? Find out where your pain point is, and what was it? What was it that made you open-minded? What problem were you trying to solve? Okay. And by the way, I'm not a genius. This is really Tony Robbins right here. And then you want to talk about the opponents that you have. Typically, we all have three. We have external. I don't want to get new signs, too expensive. Right. Brand, what about my brand that I've worked so hard to build? Intimate opponents, family members. I've heard some stories. I have my own story. It's not easy to convince the other half or the other stakeholders in your family that what you want to do is the right thing to do. What about internal? Well, I've been at KW for 20 years. I just don't want to move. Or I've got a closed mind. What's the most expensive thing that we as human beings can own? Amen. Closed mind. You got it. So you want to define that opponent and make sure that your story has that character. All right, a plan. Now, you have to come up with ways to defeat the opponent. For me, a coach was very helpful about how I could maneuver to get a strategy together to make a successful change and deal with all three of those opponents that I had to deal with. each of you need to think about that. What kind of a plan did you put together to beat the opponents and make a successful transition? All right, then the battle. Get a little Shakespearean here. Who was that guy, the politician that took a drink of water during a speech and they made fun of him or something like that? Screw that stuff. All right. So the battle. I had a battle internally, and I am. I don't look at myself as a recruiter. I never was a team lead at KW. In fact, I got offered that position, but I turned it down because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life recruiting. When I got over here, I learned the difference between recruiting and attracting. You know, I wouldn't say that Jesus was a recruiter, but he attracted. They turned out to be 12 stinky, average people, fishermen, and with those people, changed the world. But how many of you look at yourselves as a recruiter in this time? Anybody? Wow. That's all our competition thinks we are. So there's a message, right? There's a message that's not right there. But I was able to overcome that. It took me a while, it took me about a year.
Do you?
But I understood that it's really not about recruiting. For me, it wasn't. What battle do you have? Or what is your story? What's the battle in your story for yourself? Everybody's got to be unique, all right? So when I got over here, it was a different story. I had an epiphany, a self-revelation that it was really the fulfillment of the reason why I wanted to make the shift. So the ego part, to not die broke or outlive my mind, but also to solve some of the other problems that I had in a real estate business. I mean, there are so many things, that 168 variables in a transaction, let alone what it takes to run a successful real estate business. So for me, I developed a new set of beliefs and values and courage that I could do this. I mean, I get up here and I'm humbled by having this many agents. It's incredible for me to think that I could have started what has, grown into this. And I'm sorry, guys, it does get a little emotional sometimes. I told you that I wanted Herradura in here. Where is that bartender? Fire. But seriously, I mean, it does. To whom much is given, much is expected. And the thing about it is, guys, is that I'm probably, if not one of the most blessed people in this building, because of just the way I've been able to create, my greedy, unwashed, undeserving kids, are going to be filthy, fucking rich, and just tits me off. So, I love you. Just kidding. But anyway, life will never be the same again, right? That's what happens when you get to eXp. The fulfillment, I can't tell you what it feels like to wake up every day and not have to worry. I mean, 15 years ago, I was eating peanut butter and crackers, and then I would look for the next package of peanut butter and crackers. I mean, it was a very low point in my life where, a divorce had wiped me out. I wasn't working a lot because I was taking care of my mother. My kids grew up in a house where there was no carpet on the floor. And, it's a whole different story. So when your life changes that dramatically, it really is, it's an incredible witness. It's just unbelievable. So all I want to say is that if you haven't, you need to start expecting miracles, okay? In order to receive a miracle, you have to what? You have to expect it, right? And you've got to go out and do things. All right, 45 seconds. Whew. Can I get through? All right, so here's another tip, even clip. Here's another tip. A lot of you guys are wondering about events and things like that. A business planning workshop. I'm doing one of these every month on the first Tuesday of the month in Dallas. And this is not an eXp branded event. It is strictly there to serve the other agents who are in my community. I know a lot of you guys are also investing heavily in being servant leaders. This is what we came up with, and I think we're going to have a lot of success with it now that COVID is sort of past us, and we're in Texas, thank goodness. But there's really, you know, at the end of the day, you know, when God calls you, you don't want to be that person that has this thought going through their head. And I want to leave you with this. What if I had just fill in the blank, right? What if I had just, don't let that happen to you. Go out, make it happen, and I promise you, with a mindset of abundance, if you come from contribution, you're going to be blessed beyond imagination. So, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom, and one of my favorite verses for today, I'll close with this. May peace be within your walls and prosperity within your palaces. Thank you guys.